Hello everybody and welcome back to another Doctor Who Big Finish audio drama review. In today's review we're going to be venturing back into the world of the Time War, as I'm going to be taking a look at Doctor Who The War Doctor Begins, Volume 3, entitled Battlegrounds. This release is available to order now on the Big Finish website. The physical CD is £19.99 and the download is £16.99, and will be going up to the standard recommended retail price at the end of July 2022. As per usual with this series, we are greeted by three standalone adventures of roughly around 1 hour each, the first of which is The Keeper of the Light by Phil Mulryne, the second is The Temesis, as written by Ross McPhillips, and the third and final story of the set is Rewind, as written by Timothy X. A. Tack. Once more we see Jonathan Carley reprising the role as the younger version of the War Doctor. This box set can also be purchased as a part of a bundle alongside the other War Doctor Begins series. The Keeper of the Light takes the younger War Doctor back to his traditional roots. The Time War is no more, we are back on Earth, and he's got a companion by his side. He battles foes and meets people along the way. It's quite a relaxing way to start the box set, as it delivers a rather traditional Doctor Who tale, easing the listener in, but in the case of this story, that rather unusual underlying thought of why are we here? Why are we back on Earth? Where are the Daleks? And who is this companion called Layla that the Doctor has seemingly travelled with for quite a number of years? And that's the thing with the Time War. There is always that hint of unusual and suspicion when voyaging to other worlds. This episode is a great chance to hear Jonathan Carley deliver an alternative version of the War Doctor, who is seemingly comfortable being referred to as the Doctor this time round. He has that delightful sense of social awkwardness, but also that element of care for all of those around him. Phil Mulryne introduces the characters of David and Dorothy, a couple going through marriage problems who decide to get their relationship back on track with a little trip to the remote countryside. It's soon noticed by Dorothy and one of the other locals, who's called Malcolm, that the lighthouse, which has seemingly not worked for many years, has started to shine once more. The fact that Dorothy and David are played by Ken Bones and Adele Anderson, who are of course familiar names within the Time War series, is an interesting way to take this series, allowing these great actors to flex beyond their usual roles. In a rather unusual way, I think that this story, being in a standard format of Doctor Who narrative, actually works to the story's benefit, being a very ordinary Doctor Who episode. In the later half in particular, it shows simply how much the Doctor's life has changed by the events within the Time War, having a very hands-on role by this point. This theme is further explored within the third episode of this set, showing how much the Doctor's life has been altered. I was really grateful to hear more about this part of the War Doctor's incarnation, because it's what makes this incarnation interesting. Layla Bridge is also a perfect companion for this Doctor. She's adventurous, she asks questions, she fills in those awkward social moments when the Doctor can't work with other people, yet it's also an interesting and oddly comforting way to start this set. It's also nice to have absolutely no Daleks whatsoever, as I imagine if you are binge listening this series, this episode will be very unique and stand out from all of the others. Ross McPhillips delivers an absolute belter of a second story, with Temesis seeing the War Doctor donate a ship to the Thals to help them in the war effort. But it's soon clear that this ship isn't any regular Time War ship, and in fact the War Doctor has had a helping hand in its creation. What I really love about this story is that Rossa divides the episode between showing the perspective of both the Thals, but also the Daleks. We see the Daleks plotting their mission towards this suspicious ship, and the different ideas that they have on how to plan their mission and attack. It's an unusual thing to compliment, technically seeing the Daleks doing a little bit of preparation and admin, but it adds a perspective to the species which makes them more than simply just angry pepper pots. Here they are a functioning race and a threatening force within the Time War. And it's also logical as well, when the Daleks go on these missions, naturally they're going to have people, or Daleks at least, that plan what's going to happen and the different attacks that they're going to carry out. It's also soon evident that the Daleks are in fact interrogating one of their own due to suspicious communications with the Thal ship, and they suspect that they are working together. The Daleks are pretty brutal throughout this adventure and show absolutely no mercy. The episode did give me Parting of the Ways and Bad Wolf vibes, which really does say a lot because I absolutely love that adventure. It presents how the Daleks are insecure with their own within their ranks and also can easily turn against their own. Having the Daleks have their own little internal squabbles is a really interesting take, as they attempt to protect their own individual Dalek interests, as well as their dedication to the Emperor. It's mentioned in the behind the scenes that Rosser, who wrote this story, has in fact acted for services the likes of MI5 and additional security roles, and I think that really shows throughout this narrative. If we ever get a 100% Dalek story, such as the Return of Dalek Universe, I think that Rosser would be a perfect writer for that series. Carly also provides an absolutely stunning performance. Out of all the stories so far within this series, I do like when this incarnation gets hands-on. In this episode, he does very much feel like a warrior. He gains alliances rather than friendly companions, and can easily rub people up the wrong way, and I really like that. The team on board the Foul ship also feel very real. You have Dylan, as played by David Warwick, and he's a great character who has a nice arc throughout the episode as he attempts to explain his actions as captain, linking to life within the Time War and before it. We also have Rose Bazista as Sulal, as well as Troy Alexander as Gilda. They feel like very real Foul warriors. The story takes its time to carefully pen mini plot arcs for each of the characters, which really works to the story's strengths, making the episode stand out. This is certainly the action story of the set. Commodore Tamazan also gets a little cameo towards the end of the episode, and she is as awful as ever, not seeing the importance of the Fouls and seeing herself as superior. I do like her and the War Doctor's ongoing angry feud, which has been going on for quite some time now. Timothy X Attack concludes Battlegrounds with Rewind, taking on the form of a Groundhog Day style story, seeing the planet of Lacuna live the day of the Dalek invasion over and over again. One of the things which really drew me to this story in its early half is the absence of the Doctor himself. We are greeted by Sarah Moss's character of Ignis Abel, a lower level counsellor of poetry within the planet's government. However, she is soon promoted to a place of power from the day of the Dalek invasion. Through her telling the story from her perspective, the episode does feel very descriptive and poetic, almost like an audiobook. However, the way Sarah delivers this really brings the world to life. You feel the motivation of the characters and the hope to try again each and every repetitive day, but also them losing hope over time as they repeat themselves, carrying out the same actions. We are also introduced to the president of the planet by default, being Regis Parentis, who is the ex-minister for fisheries. Through repeating the cycle over and over again, the listener becomes well aware of the planet's position, the way they hopelessly tweak their plans in the mere anticipation and hope of changing anything at all. This also works really well to boost the danger of the story. Timothy's description of the Berserker Daleks make them feel like absolute death machines, but by not having the Doctor present as the focal figure, you experience a Dalek invasion from a species completely out of their depths when it comes to defending themselves, making the Daleks feel incredibly ruthless, but also a force to be reckoned with. When the War Doctor does eventually show up, Carly's performance is one of his best performances to date. He himself is stuck in this loop, remembering each day. His interactions with Ignis are very powerful. There are funny moments as well, as she believes that the War Doctor is in fact a wizard who has put a curse on this world, and you can kind of see where she's coming from, because at the end of the day, he is this mysterious, seemingly magical figure conducting spells within a castle. There are also some important discussions with the Doctor himself, who he is, the very fact that he doesn't go by his name anymore and why, as Ignis believes that they have a right to know the name of either their saviour or their killer. Once more, it's moments like this which really make the War Doctor stories so intriguing, as it pushes this Time Lord that we are seemingly familiar with to their limits. Rewind is a masterful presentation of how to deliver the Time War at its most effective, not focusing completely on the big war and explosions with action and the running into danger, but instead microscopic events, focusing on specific vulnerable worlds, such as a society which have absolutely no idea what is going on in the universe external to their own world. Without a doubt, this might actually be my favourite War Doctor story to date, alongside Light the Flame being the opening episode of this series. The ending is very powerful, and if you like this incarnation or Time War era stories, this is an episode which you should most certainly experience. Battlegrounds is a great set of stories which all deliver an enjoyable narrative. I like the way the Daleks are utilised, making them feel dangerous rather than being same old Dalek stories. From internal squabbles and berserker Daleks, we get to see the lengths the Daleks go to win the Time War, but also how ruthless they can be. The War Doctor himself is also tested throughout this set, and Carly truly provides one of his best performances to date. So thank you very much for watching this review of The War Doctor Begins Battlegrounds, the third volume of this series. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course check out my other War Doctor Begins reviews if you haven't already, and something that I would like to stress is you don't actually have to have listened to the previous volumes within this series, or even the John Hurt War Doctor stories, in order to enjoy this set. If you simply want to hear some Doctor Who Time War adventures, then this is most certainly a very powerful set with a great presentation of this incarnation within the Time War. So thank you very much for watching this review, and do of course stay tuned for more Big Finish audio drama reviews. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.